G'day, Starlo here. I'm in beautiful Bermagui on the far south coast of New South Wales, and the sun's only just risen. It's starting to punch through the heavy cloud cover. Do you know what they say? It's the early bird that catches the worm that catches the fish, or something like that. Anyway, I'm going to try and catch my lunch. Here's hoping. I just love this place. Look at the cleaning tables, and I'm actually going to need them because I managed to catch lunch. I scored one nice Ludwig. But I'm really interested about this bin here, fish waste only. I want to know a little bit more about it, so I've called someone who can explain it to me, Jolie Viddo from Bega Valley Shire Council. And in case you haven't heard, Bega Council are doing some great stuff to reduce the amount of waste that goes to landfill by recycling, reusing and repurposing. And I'm all for that. So Jolie, tell us about these bins.
Yeah, the bins came about because the community were really asking council to come up with a better solution. We just had stinky bins at the boat ramps, and the material was going to landfill. We knew there was something better that we could do, and that's how the partnership with Ocean2earth was formed.
Ocean2earth, what a great name for a company involved in this kind of stuff, and sounds like they're doing quite a bit.
Yeah, they're absolutely amazing. Two local guys that came up with a solution to probably a problem that every boat ramp in Australia has.
Well, I reckon that's their truck coming in right now.
Tim, Starlo.
Well, mate, a bit fishy, but that probably doesn't worry you driving that thing.
That's all right.
This sounds fascinating, this Ocean2earth operation. Tell us a little bit more about it.
The council had an issue and the public had an issue with smells and stuff like that, and the waste was just going to landfill, so there's had to be a better way. That's sort of how we come about to try and do something better with what I call a resource, not a waste.
We would get so many complaints, particularly over summer, right? Like every day you'd get someone ringing up.
All right, well, I've got a frame for your bin, so let's have a look.
Awesome.
Well, I'm going to drop my fish frame in here, but I can see that there's a couple of plastic bags in there, Tim. That's got to be a problem, hasn't it?
It is. Rubbish is an issue for us.
Have you got to sort all that?
We do, yeah. We sort it by hand.
Ooh. All right, mate, in you go. Oh, close that up. It's a little bit smelly in there. But sorting stuff, I mean, that's an issue with waste generally, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We spend, a lot of time at a local government level getting people to really just choose the right bin, because what happens if you don't is it ends up costing the community and the environment a lot.
Yeah, and it's hard for people like Tim when they're dealing with this stuff. It can actually be dangerous if there's hooks and line and stuff like that in there. I can imagine it can be a lot of fun.
Exactly right. The bin's there, they've been provided for, so there's no excuse really to do the wrong thing. It's probably just laziness.
Yeah. Tim, you've dropped a few hints already. Put me out of my misery and tell me what actually happens to all this fish waste.
Well, Starlo, it definitely doesn't go to landfill. We turn it into a premium compost.
Compost? Makes perfect sense. How good is that?
I think the thing that always blows my mind with this product, there was a need, there was a problem, and these guys came up with the best solution, and that is making compost, which is absolutely premium grade. Like, it is so good.
What a good news story. We better let you get back to work.
I am definitely out of here because this bin stinks and I've got work to do.
See you later. So how do you get it from smelly fish frames in these bins to good quality compost?
The process starts right here at the ramp. We inoculate our bins with a special inoculant.
So it's starting to happen right here in the bins at the boat ramp?
Every process from now on in is inoculants added, and that started the process that we need to be able to make this product.
There's obviously a few more steps once you get back to home base.
We then add pine bark, which comes from around the Eden area.
Have you got any idea how much you're taking out of landfill every year?
Since we started, we're taking about 400 tonnes of marine waste out of the Bega Valley. We're the only company in Australia who can legally naturally compost fish. Right. So at the moment, we've got the only one with the EPA exemption, so a lot of trial and error, a lot of heartache, but we finally got there. So now we're collecting oyster shells, we got sea urchins, we got fish, we got charcoal. There's just so many things that go to landfill at the moment that should not be there when there's such premium products. So.
It makes so much sense. And what about your end users? Who are the sort of people that are benefiting from the final product?
Backyard gardeners, market gardeners are really having a lot of success.
Bottom line, does it grow good stuff?
It certainly does, Starlo. Matter of fact, I'll want to take you somewhere and show you.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
But first, I've got a surprise for you. Do you know this fella?
G'day,
Paul West.
Starlo. How are you, mate? G'day,
Good, mate.
Timbo.
Hey,
what's going on?
Paul.
I'm the biggest fan, mate. It's so good to meet you.
Oh, you're making me blush, Starlo.
You live here.
I do, mate. I have a reputation as Bermaguy's worst fisherman. I heard you were in town.
Well, I'm not that much better, but I did manage to catch lunch. I've got a couple of nice blackfish fillets here. You don't happen to know a decent chef?
Mate, I do, but they're working this morning, so I might have to fill in the meantime. We can't just live on fish alone, Starlo. And I know a bloke who's just up the road, who's a mate of yours as well, Tim, and he grows incredible veggies. I reckon we go check out his farm, we'll harvest some veggies, cook up some fish and have a bit of lunch. Legend.
Let's do it. Come on.
So, Fraser, have you had a chance to do some growing with this stuff?
Yeah, we've been trialling a bit, Paul, just with different crops, but also different blends that Tim's been playing with. This is the one that works really well for us.
Oh, look at this black gold, Tim. Magnificent.
Yeah, it's great stuff, Tim. It's really well composted. It has no residual smell to it. Doesn't smell like fish, even though it's like pretty much a lot of it is. This stuff works really well in the patch. It's really biologically active, and got a very good mineral analysis, which is mostly about balance. It's really well balanced. It's kind of like a fertilizer, but it's just actually a compost.
And I mean, does that, having access to a high quality compost like this, does that take the burden off you a bit as a small farmer from having to produce your own?
Yeah, for sure. We used to make a lot of compost ourselves, but it does take a lot of time, and not so much time in making the compost, but time sourcing all the materials. This is a much better outcome for us. It's actually a better compost than I can make, which is great. We start with a very heavy clay shale soil, and as you can see now, it's actually loosening up nicely. It's retaining a nice crumb, which then retains a whole lot of organic matter and worms. You can see in there, and that's really the environment that we're trying to, a nice warm aerated environment with a nutrient level that the plants can just do what they want.
Can we harvest one of these for a bit of lunch, Fraser?
Of course, mate. Yeah.
Have you got a favourite in there?
No, you can take your pick.
Pick me a good one.
Speaks to you.
Like here, it's nice and perfect.
Right, mate. Well, one blackfish. What are you going to do with it?
Oh, well, I'm just going to keep it really simple today, Starlo. I'm going to pan fry that. And, we're in spring in the garden, so there's a lot of green stuff on offer, these beautiful cabbages. So I've got a little slab of bacon. I'm going to cut that up into lardons, cook it with the cabbage, a bit of stock, some butter, and right at the end, I'm going to finally chop that lettuce and shred it through that so the lettuce will wilt. It's a little bit cooked. And then, you've just got one side dish, the beautiful fish. That's all you need, really. When you've got the good stuff, you don't have to overcomplicate it. So I'll just cut this fella up into some little battens. Quickest cook shoot you'll ever see. I think Tim's pretty hungry. I think he's been working up an appetite, giving us the tour today. And once that bacon starts to brown up a little bit, we'll add that in there. So with the cabbage, you know, you can tell that it's a very healthy plant. Yeah, and sweet.
Oh,
you know, there's
sweet.
a real sweetness to it that you just, you know, you only get from stuff that's been harvested straight away.
Can we go and stir?
Please, yeah. Thank you. Oh, teamwork. Look at this.
Looking good.
A little bit. So I'll just pop those beautiful little lettuce leaves in there whole, and a nice big slab of butter. Give it a stir, Starlo, and we're just about ready for the fish. And Starlo, the luteric, I mean, it's a vegetarian fish or omnivorous.
Omnivorous, yeah.
So it can get a pretty vegetative taste in a good way, though.
Yeah, look, sometimes you can get a little bit of iodine because of the weed that they eat, but I find if you fillet them, if you look after them, bleed them and kill them as soon as you catch them,
Yes.
and then fillet them and skin them, it takes any of that slight weediness that some people find unpleasant. Some people really enjoy it, but no, look, I like them. I think they're a beautiful fish, lovely firm white flesh.
Because we don't see a lot of them. It's a kind of a fisherman's treat, isn't it? It's not something you get from the co-op.
Unfortunately, when you do get it from the co-op, it often hasn't been handled all that well. It's
Right.
It's been left with the guts in, and it's sat there for a little while, and really got to look after them.
That's a beautiful flesh fish, nice and firm and white. It's great. Lovely. Righto, we'll give that a quick pan fry, and then let's give that a little bit of salt. Fraser and Tim, Smoko's ready. You better hurry up or there's not going to be any left. That's what happens when you've got good ingredients to work with.
Wow, look at that. High nutrient dense food.
It all starts with high nutrient dense soil for the veggies,
Certainly
doesn't it?
does.
Just pop that on there, bring us a little bit of that.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Put that up on top of there to make it extra. Look at that. Well, gents, great day. Great day on the job.
That's absolutely delicious.
Delicious fish, mate. Thanks, Starlo.
No
for
worries.
that.
Yeah.
All we need is a little bit of your compost to sprinkle over the top, Tim, to set it off.
With a black gold salt and pepper.
Oh,
Good for your hair. My hair was even grey than what it is now.
yeah, right, it's
Starting to
bouncing
come off.
back. And you're totally bald.
In a world that so often seems to be dominated by bad news, it's an absolute joy to be able to bring you a good news story. And the Ocean2earth story is definitely good news. Ocean2earth have been able to take fish and other marine waste that would normally have gone to landfill or polluted our environments and turned it into a rich, productive compost. It's one of the most exciting developments I've seen in my half century as a fishing communicator, and I'm 100% behind it. Look, if you see their collection bins where you're cleaning your catch, make sure you use them and use them properly. And if you don't see them there, ask your local council why not, because this is the way of the future. It's got to be the way of the future. Until next time, this is Starlo wishing you happy gardening, tight lines, and bon appetit.